Let me get that turned on. I had the microphone turned off. Why did I do that? The sound is going to be all messed up. All right. Thank you. Welcome, friends. Welcome to another Stamp With Me Tuesday. Hopefully everything is set now. Thought I had all the buttons pushed. I didn't. Tonight, we are doing another great rubber stamping technique. We're going to do how to stamp an ombre using bold stamps. So we're going to actually stamp in the ombre. Ombre, I don't know. However you want to say it. So if you don't know what ombre is, it is where you get that variation of color. Usually it looks like it's lighter on the top and it gets darker on the bottom, and it just kind of grades down, right? So it almost looks like it's faded or something. Anyway, if you are here and joining me live, leave me a comment. Let me know if you ever feel like it could ever get too hot for crafting. Because it is hot again. I have my air conditioner running. Hopefully you can't hear that noise in the background. But yeah, and sometimes I wonder, it's like, is it too hot for crafting? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. I'd love to know your opinions. And if you're watching the replay, special welcome to you as well. If this is your first time here, I am Heidi with Onigo Stamping. I'm going to help you reconnect with your inner artist by using stamps, ink, and paper to make beautiful handmade cards and gifts just like we're going to do tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and make my workspace look just a little bit bigger. Let me see. There we go. So now we can see what we got. So to do tonight's technique, you're going to need just a couple things. Only if the air is out. Oh, Janice, my air does not work very well, which is why I have a portable air conditioner in my office upstairs. It's never too hot. Good to know, Jean. All right, good to know. So you're going to need just a couple things to do tonight's technique, which is a couple different colors of ink pads. Now you want them to be analogous colors. That means that they are colors that are close to each other. So like petal pink and Calypso coral. That's what I've chosen. You can also do something like, I don't know, like 3 different greens, right? Like 3 different green ink pads. Or you could do yellow, orange, and pink, right? You just want the colors to kind of, be colors that are going to fade into each other nicely. If you do like red and blue together, it might be a little weird. If you do red and green together, it's going to be really, really weird. It probably will turn brown in the middle, so you don't want to do that. All right. And then you need a blending brush, and this is just to do a little bit of blending. I'll show you what we're going to do. It's so easy. I'm using the Everyday You and Me stamp set. I love this. It's supposed to be for scrapbooking, but I just love the really big, bold sentiments and the bold flowers. Super easy stamping. So that is what I'm going to use. Cindy, you say today it's too hot to craft. Yeah, I'm kind of feeling that. So I have a little piece of basic white, and I'm going to start by stamping on this. The first thing I want to do is I'm going to open up my ink pads. I'm going to start with the lighter color. So I'm starting with the petal pink. And I'm just going to come in here and add petal pink to the top of my stamp. Or you could even do the whole stamp. I'm just going to put it on the top of my stamp. I don't know why I closed that. I'm going to need it again in 2 seconds. And then you're going to come in with your darker color, which for me is Calypso Coral, and put it on the bottom. So the whole stamp is inked up, and it's inked up with 2 different colors. This is where the blending brush comes in. Sometimes if we stamped it just like that, you might get a harsh line between the 2. So what we're going to do is we're just going to take the blending brush and just tap it, and that's going to blend those together just a little bit. And then we can stamp it. And we can see how we kind of get that ombre effect. So I'm going to do this again with some more stamps. All right, so here we go. I have a little bit of darker stamp. Since I'm just using 2 colors, I'm just inking that whole thing. And then we can come in on the bottom and just ink a little bit on the bottom. So there's our 2 colors, and we'll blend them out a little bit and then stamp them. All right. And I'm just going to stamp this on my scrap paper, get some of the extra ink off, ink it up again with some petal pink, and then come in and just do the edges with a little Calypso Coral. I'm just kind of doing the bottom of it, tapping it off with a blending brush, stamping it on the other side. And there we go. We can see how we're getting that ombre look on our ink, on our stamps. Now I'm going to do this some more. I have a piece of petal pink cardstock, and I just kind of want to make a whole background with these flowers. So I'm going to come in with the biggest one first and just keep doing the same thing. So we added the 2 inks. I'm just going to stamp this up. Now you could do this with 3 inks as well. If you had 3 inks, you would want to start with the lightest color ink and then put the medium ink in the center and the darkest ink at the bottom. All right. Kind of went crazy with that one. So I'm just going to keep adding these on. Hello, Lisa and Janet and Ellen and Sherry. Welcome, welcome. So it'll just take me a few minutes just to do this whole little piece of petal pink. I'm going to leave some little spaces because I do want to come in with some smaller stamps too, just to kind of give it a variety look. I have trouble stamping and talking at the same time. Not so good for me. All right. So, and I have lots more samples to show you. Well, not lots. I have a couple more samples. I didn't go crazy tonight. But I do have a couple more samples to share with you using this technique in some different colors and things. So you can see what it looks like. All right, we're getting there. Just adding in some more of these as I go. And they're all going to look a little bit different. I just like the variation it gives to my piece of paper here. All right. One in. I'm going to add some more small ones in. Just kind of going back and forth. And adding these all in. Whew. So as I do this, let's see if I can talk about other things as I do this, because there's a lot going on this week. Now, if you happened to have registered and purchased the scrapbooking workshop kit, that starts tomorrow, and you should have gotten more information about that. If you have not purchased it, there are still kits available. Now, you won't be able to get it in time to stamp along this week, but the videos are going to be available for you to watch later. So you can still get it and get in on that, and it's going to be pretty fabulous. It's going to be the rest of this week. You see, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and hours and hours. It goes from, I don't know, it goes for hours. So that's starting tomorrow. And then I have my first ever stamp camp, virtual stamp camp, coming up starting Sunday night at 8. It's going to be Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, because Tuesday is the July online card class. So there's just a ton going on. And we're going to make some really, really awesome projects. They're going to be so cool. I cannot wait for this to get started. So if you've registered, you should have already received your camp kit in the mail. If you haven't registered, I'm going to put the tutorials will be available for sale in my tutorial store, and you can always just come and watch too. They're going to be available for you to watch. So everyone can watch starting Sunday. So put it on your calendar. Plan to join me every night next week, because we have a lot going on. All right, I'm going to set that aside. Isn't that pretty? So we just get all those little flowers all over on there. Now I'm going to come back. Remember how I did those 3? We're going to add just a little bit of leafiness under them. So I'm going to use some soft sea foam for my leaves. I'm just going to add these in underneath. Just kind of here and there, every which way. There we go. So we have some leaves on the bottoms of my 3 roses. And now I'm going to pull out my Tuxedo Black Memento ink pad that is pretty well inked up. And I'm going to ink up the stamp that says Better Together. I thought this would make a good like wedding card or something, or an anniversary card. So inking that up, I want to make sure it's nice and black because I'm just going to stamp it right over the top of these flowers. This is why I love bold stamps, because you can stamp them over top of things. And you just have that nice, look at that, not pretty. I just love the way that looks. All right. So now we can work on finishing up this card. I'm going to adhere my piece of basic white. This piece was 2 inches by 3.5, I think. And I'm putting it on a piece that is 2 1/8 by 3 5/8. And then I'm going to put it on a piece of Calypso Coral that is 2.5 by 4. And I'm going to adhere that with some Stampin' Dimensionals if I can find them. So hello, Angela and Lancaster. Welcome, welcome. So I'm just going to pop some Stampin' Dimensionals on the back of it. Make it so it's well supported. Pull off those little backs. Oh, they're hard to get off. Pull those all off. And then this is going to go on my Calypso Coral. Just like that. I always like to do little layers and big layers. There we go. And then I have my card base. My card base is Petal Pink. Fold this in half. Card bases are almost always 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4, which is just folding it in half. And I have ink on my fingers. I'm going to cover that up. I can tell. I have ink on my fingers. So I'm going to grab ink on your fingers. I keep I keep hand sanitizer on my desk. I keep hand sanitizer on my desk. It helps get off those little bits of ink. So at least, you know, it gets it off enough that you're not going to get it on your project, which is helpful. All right, so my stamped flowers, I'm actually going to layer these on a piece of Petal Pink as well. Now, the project sheet for this is over on my website, or it will be available in my email tomorrow. It's going to come right to your email box if you're on my email list, because I send out those project sheets every week, which is just a really great way to have those and be able to save them and remember them for the future. You can print them off. You could keep a whole binder if you wanted to. I have some of the Petal Pink braided trim. I've already pulled out some pieces because really, so far, I don't think I've used this once in a braid. All I am doing is pulling it apart to use it as twine. So I'm just going to wrap this. I pulled out 2 strands. I'm going to wrap it around twice and tie it in a bow if I can. I don't know. Have you used the Petal Pink? Have you used the Petal Pink braided trim? And have you used it as braided trim? Have you deconstructed it and pulled it apart like I have? Am I the only one that doesn't use it as a braid? All right, so I have that on there. I'm going to trim the edges just a little bit to match up. And then this is going to go on my card front. So I'll put this on with some green glue. Probably got too much green glue on there. You just made one bow. The bow came out nice, but you didn't use it on a card. All right, good to know. So I'm just going to put this over on the right or the left side. I know right from left, really. I'm going to put it over here on the left side of my card. I'm going to hold this down for just a minute because it's kind of thick and lumpy, so I want to make sure that it glues really well. So we're just going to hold it in place and give it a second to adhere down there. So, all right, it should be good enough. And then this is going to go right up here. I need to move those down. Should have checked that before I adhered it. That would have been smart. Checking my ribbons before I glued things down. It's okay. We're going to add this to the top. So there we go. Add this. Oh, there's our pretty card with that ombre stamping on there. Isn't that cool? So pretty. I love the way this background turned out. Just love that. So there we go. All right, let me show you my couple other examples that I have. One of the things I grabbed the paper tags bundle, which I think is so cute, and I really haven't used it enough. So I just made a tag, and I did this with lemon lime twist, granny apple green, and shy shamrock. And you can see that it just kind of blends one to the other. And then I embossed this part that says your day in white on granny apple green. And I just cut that out and popped it up. So it's a little bit bigger. So not fun. You love the card. Thank you, Janice. All right. And then I used the Encircled with Love stamp set, and I did it on this circle. You can see I have Daffodil Delight, Pumpkin Pie, and Melon Mambo. And I stamped this. Now, this is the stamp set that we are using for the August online card class. So that you can earn free right now when you place at least a $100 order through me in July. I will send you that card kit automatically. So, and check out these little scallops. What I did is I stamped this part of the stamp in Melon Mambo on Pumpkin Pie, and then I just cut them out and glued them under that edge. Isn't that fun? Super fun. All right. So there's my 3 cards, or my 3 projects, because one of them's not a card. My 3 projects for this evening. I hope that you have enjoyed this. I am going to go over and I'm going to post a photo of these on the Onigo Stamping Facebook page. If you make a project with this technique, I hope that you will come over there and post a picture of it in the comments, because I love being able to see what people do with different stamps and how they put it together and all that kind of good stuff. So definitely come and post and let us ooh and ah over your creation. Otherwise, I hope that I will see you Sunday night for the first night of Camp Wow. It is Memory Trails, and we're going to be making a mini scrapbook. I think you're going to love it. So put it on your calendar. Come join me 8 p.m. Eastern. I will see you there. Have a great weekend.